Welcome one and all, Nyanko here, and today I'm here to talk about a game I really like called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Well, now this is a series of games. So the one that I am talking about today is Mystery Dungeon DX, which is the remake of Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team Blue, which was the very first Pokemon Dungeon game I ever played back when I was like 10. No, I was 14 at the time. Yeah. It came out when I was a bit younger, but I got it when I was like 14. Really like the game series. So if you don't know what the Mystery Dungeons are, basically you, the player, get transported into the Pokemon world and wake up as a Pokemon. You don't remember anything other than your name, and then your little friend character who will join you throughout the game finds you, is like, oh, why are you here? What's wrong with you? Oh, you're a bit weird, but I like you. Come with me. And they're usually like obsessed with rescue teams, and they want you to build a rescue team with them. And there's some form of like natural calamity or disaster going along. And basically the storyline is for this particular dungeon, is you wake up, there's a load of natural disasters which is causing Pokemon to go berserk and attack other Pokemon, and you team up with whoever you chose as your partner upon waking up, and you build up a little rescue team together. But then you kind of become the centre of the controversy because one of the characters, Gengar, says that there's a prophecy that a human who turns into a Pokemon will bring about the destruction of the world. So yeah, you end up getting chased out of town, and you've got to run through a bunch of different dungeons to escape. You then end up having to fight like the big team, so like the best rescue team, which is Alakazam's team. You have to like defeat them and be like, look, I am not going to bring calamity. I'm a good human. I'm here to help. And then you meet Ninetales, who tells you that you are not the human in question. And then Alakazam and his team come back and they like vouch for you and say it wasn't you, kind of thing. And then everything goes back to normal, and then you move on to the next part of the story and the next dungeon and so on and so forth. And you end up like you yourself then get to the end of the game and you save the day, which is basically that I'm not going to spoil, but basically you save the day and then you're being transported back to the human world, but because you've formed so many attachments to the Pokemon and in the Pokemon world, you're like, I want to go back, I have to go back, I can't leave them. And so you come back, and then everyone's together, and then the second part of the story starts out. So that's what I really like about this particular mystery dungeon, is there's like 3 parts to the storyline. So you get the main storyline, you also then have to find out who the other human that became a Pokemon that got cursed was, with Ninetales' curse, and you end up going through that storyline. You have the Latias and the Latios storyline, where you have to rescue Latios. Yeah, so basically Latias crash lands, you end up saving Latios. No, Latios comes to you because he's injured. You then have to go and save his sister, who's fallen down into a pit, and other things like that. You end up going to find Ho-Oh in points. And so there's other storylines that are going on in the background after you finish the main game. You also, you go along, you collect new Pokemon from the different dungeons, you level up, you evolve. Although you can't evolve until you've beaten the main storyline of the game, and then evolving becomes an option later. Now, one of the things I will admit that I like about the new remake is that the Pokemon you leave behind, who are still part of your team, will also gain XP when you go into the dungeons, whereas in the original game, if they weren't with you on the team, they didn't get any points, so it could make evolving them a bit of an issue, whereas I like that mechanic that they don't get as much XP, but they still get a small amount of XP that helps them level up in the background. So when evolution becomes a thing, you can then take them out. Or if at some point you need to go into a dungeon and you need a member who, say, you got in an earlier dungeon, so was a bit weaker, by the time it comes around for them to like shine in the main spot, it's got enough power that it's not going to get killed in one hit, which I quite liked. The downside that I found with the remake is that they didn't keep the individual habitats. So with the Pokemon, you buy habitats from Wigglytuff. Yeah, from Wigglytuff. So that you can recruit Pokemon that live in that specific habitat. And in the Pokemon Blue game, like I'll show you some of them here. They're really pretty caves that you walk into, really nicely designed, have like their own individual feel, and then it didn't feel the same when it came to the DX remake. They kind of lost that bit of magic. So I kind of wish they could have implemented the new changes while keeping all the magic from the old game. In terms of it's just a small thing, and it probably wouldn't bother anybody else, but I was just like, why? I really like this. Why? I miss them having their own little caves, and like you would literally go, you'd walk in and you could walk around it and you could see it all, and it was really pretty. Whereas now you just kind of go, the Pokemon's on the list, and then you like recruit them and go out. So I thought that was the only downside to the remake of the game that I could find. Everything else was really good. They'd upped the graphics, they'd modernised it a little bit, but they kept the true heart of the original game, and that for me was amazing, and I really, really liked that. So yeah, highly recommend, if you can get your hands on the original game, try the original game, but if not, and you like the newer look of the Switch game, definitely get it on Switch. It's really fun to play, and even once you've completed all the main stories, there's more dungeons that are coming out and stuff. So some of the other dungeons, you've got Jirachi you have to go through and sort Jirachi, which has got the wishing stone, and you do that, I think, to help the other human that was cursed, because you're trying to help him make amends for the reason why he got cursed, which was really good. You've got the Mewtwo dungeon. Oh, I hate that dungeon. So with the Mewtwo dungeon, there's 99 floors, and you have to go through all the floors, and then you get to Mewtwo. You've got to beat Mewtwo, and then you have to repeat it to recruit him. So angry. That was so frustrating. Because I would keep dying at like floor 97. And I'd be like, no! Because I'd take all of my revives with me. I'd take all of my healing potions. And I'd get to like floor 90 and I'd have blasted through them. And then I'd just squeak through to like floor 97 or something. I'd get through to like floor 98. And I'd get hit by a sandstorm. And I'd be like, no! Oh, that was so frustrating. But I really liked how it was frustrating, because there was still some difficulty to it. So there's a couple of other 100 floors. So there's the Mew one, which opens up after you beat the main game, or is it after you... Yeah, so after you beat the main game, I think. You open up the 100 floor one with Mew, and you've got the Unknown in there, and you've got the Regirock, the Regice, the Registeel, and then the Regigigas, I believe. It's been a while since I did that dungeon, because I moved on and I started going into like the other dungeons, and I think in total there was like 20, 25. I'm not fully sure on exactly how many, because some of them aren't needed for the storyline, they just pop up and you can pop into them when you want to. Other ones are necessary to the storyline, so you have to go into them and you have to beat them and clear them. So you've got like the Groundon one, which you have to beat because that's a plot point for the story. You've got the Rayquaza one, which is like the tower in the sky, again plot point. You've got the Kyogre one, that's how I pronounce it anyway, that's like 40 floors, again that's part of the storyline. You've got like Suicune, Entei, Raikou. You've got Lugia. I think there's a Lugia one. I never got to recruit Lugia. I definitely know there's a Ho-Oh. Yeah, Ho-Oh's there. And then, like I said, there's Jirachi, and like there's loads of legendary Pokemon as well that you can recruit. So you've also got the 3 legendary birds. So you've got Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. You've got Ho-Oh. I think there's Lugia in the game. I'll have to double check because I never came across him, but I think he's somewhere in the game. So yeah, you've got Mewtwo, you've got Mew, you've got the Regigigas, like the Regi ones. I think they added more legendary ones to the new remake because there was more legendaries available at that point. I'm going to have to replay the game again. I absolutely love the game. I replay it at least once a year. And when they brought out the remake, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So I got it and I played it in like a day. Because I love this game. And now I need to replay it. I lent it to my sibling and I keep forgetting to get it back off my sibling. And I need to do that because I need to play it more. Actually, I think I'm in the city soon. So I'll probably just pop by and be like, give me my game. Come on, give me. I need it. I need my fix. But no, it's a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You like I said, you become the Pokemon, you play the storyline, and then you can keep playing afterwards if you're like a completionist like I am, or you can just leave it and just play the main storylines and then leave the game. It's up to you. It's a great game for all ages. Like, I know it says 3 on the box, but you know, personally, I'm in my 20s. Still love the game, still replay it all the time. I'm a huge Pokemon nerd if you haven't noticed. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, definitely would recommend that you can, if you can get your hands on a copy of Pokemon Blue, the original one, do. And if you can get your hands on a copy of Mystery Dungeon DX, do, because it's basically the same story. It's just there's a few little tweaks that are a bit different between them. So yeah, do definitely, if you can, get your hands on it, play it, and fall in love with the Pokemon Dungeon series. I've played a lot of them, which will be coming out in other videos at some point in the future. But yeah, I guess I should probably leave it there so I don't spoil everything for your enjoyment if you go and play the game. If you have already played the game, let me know down below who you were in the game, Pokemon-wise, and who you chose as your partner to start with. I'm usually an Eevee, and I like to choose a Cyndaquil. Just my personal preference. Sometimes I'll go Torchic, but I usually prefer Eevee if I can get my hands on that. So that was, just quickly, you can't choose who you are in the blue. You have to just answer the questions, and you get given out of the answers. It's like, okay, you fit this Pokemon. Whereas in DX, you go through all of the you go through all of the questions to like choose who you want to be, who you're going to be assigned, and then it's like pick which Pokemon you want, which I really like, because then I could just pick who I wanted instead of having to constantly restart the game to try and figure out who I was going to be. But yeah, really cute game, definitely recommend it. It's really fun and it's really entertaining. So yeah, I'll just leave it there for the night. Anything else I have to say? Oh yes, remember, eat something, drink something, don't forget your medications. All of my love for my kittens, and I will see you in the next one. Au revoir!